So there's a way that things want to change by cutting away or separating something. And if you're in a long-term love relationship like a marriage, it's possible that you'll have some geographical separation between you and a long-term partner during this transit of Mars. So get ready for evidence that might be true June the 28th to August the 14th. Welcome to the month of July 2026, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. Wow, we have quite the month with a rare once-in-a-lifetime Barbos basket. It's an incredible formation with outer planets and Jupiter in the mix that bring rare and eventful changes to your life. We have some significant shifts in your long-term committed love relationships, residence, and career. All are up for grabs, as well as some intensity with siblings that have very intense pivot points for you and those relationships. We'll be bringing this into focus as we go through the month, week by week and day by day, to cover everything you need to know, including 2 moons this month, one in the sign of Cancer and another lunation in Aquarius, and what that might mean for you as well. So welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lori Lothe, and this is Western Tropical Zodiac. Well, we are also talking about big epic events that track through the month. We're helping you time your best month. How you use astrology is like a map of time. And because I'm into astrology as a tool, not just a theory, and it works, I do teach people how to get their own astrological guidance system up and running. So if you want to learn the basic language of astrology, I call my course Sky Reader. It's my 7th year teaching. It only runs once a year in the fall. It's coming up this September. If you want to join us for 7 teaching weeks, 4 guest classes with guest teachers, a bunch of bonus content, weekly Q&As, and time with me in the Zoom room and Q&A rooms, you're very welcome to come aboard. Class year number 7 this fall in September. Date to be I probably will start mid-September this year. And we run for 7 weeks. And we have a Discord group and a Facebook group and more. In the description box is my deep dive early bird discount code, meaning that we only get that code. You only have that code till the end of July. So if you're watching this video and you want to get a very low price compared to the regular price, well, that's just your chance to jump aboard. So check out underneath the video in the description box, and I'll try to pin it to the comments, how to go read the website, find out more about it. And if there's any chance you don't see that link there and it's just an early bird discount wait list, then that'll work too. You'll get notification that the enrollment card is opened. All right, so let's get started. I may bring you to the sky, but let me also bring you some big concept stories first, just before we get going. And I show you the sky, get your pen and paper, 30 to 40 minutes long, settle in, come back and watch this video during the rest of the month, because people do that all the time and they're blown away by what has happened, has been predicted. You are going to notice that 2 massive things happen this month. Jupiter and Mars change signs. Now, for Jupiter changing signs, it's only once every 12 years that he does cross into the sign of Leo. And in your Aries, in your Sag Sun or Moon or Rising, as if it's the first house position, this puts Jupiter moving into your 9th house, a Lakshmi house. Wealth, abundance, and prosperity, luminous light is here. And so Jupiter is happy here. He's going to support positive developments. And he first enters this part of the chart to even add more icing on the cake with Venus up there as well. So there's a feeling of, oh, thank God Jupiter's in my 9th house. This feels like I'm being blessed. That is a door that opens for you on June the 30th and lasts for a whole year. So you're really feeling the full beginning brunt of that. On top of that, Jupiter in the month of July wakes up the Barbos basket/cradle activation, because he becomes the 4th element in the 3-point structure. I'll show you that, bringing a rare first in a lifetime event. And Jupiter is in a good place, and he's a good guy, and he flows to you in fire trine energy. And you also notice that Mars crosses into your significant business, love, relationship house, business partners, love partners. That's a big deal. Mars will be in the sign of Gemini all the way from June the 28th to August the 11th. And that's going to activate nodal destined turning points in in home, where you live, long-term committed love relationship, and career. A lot going on for you guys in this month ahead. You mutables, that Mars bending of the nose really brings a lot of potency of change for you. Let me bring you into the sky so we can look at it together, and you can get your pen and paper, take some notes. I know a lot of you don't prefer the ads. If you like ad-free early access content for these videos, come join me on Patreon. That's the best I can give you. I think it's a mere $10 a month, and you'll get these long videos without a single ad. Every video I produce on YouTube without a single ad to listen to. So Patreon's where you get the ad-free reality. The Google ads, I don't place them. Google does. They're my livelihood. So bear with me. I don't have big sponsors. I'm not Candace Owens. All right. So Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. You're acting like Sag Rising because that's your avatar simulation character you're born to play. But your Sag Sun is your career and purpose, but also you're the real you. The Sag Moon people, it's home, nest, safety, but also Moon represents your mind, and so it's your thinking and feeling states. So with that in mind, keep those in the front of your mind as we get going. So I think I want to mention to you right away that as you enter into the month of June, at the end of June, you'll notice right away that Jupiter has crossed over into Leo, and also Mercury has stationed retrograde on the 29th. And so two things are happening at once. We begin the month with a freshly new started retrograde in your 8th house of chunky money. Jupiter has started to bless your 9th house, and Mars has crossed as well into the 7th house. This makes it feel very different than the month of June. So July has a different vibration, basically, okay? So Mars is a separator. Mars will cut into anything he can get his hands on, a scalpel to split your skin into, a pruning shear to cut something off the tree. And so that way he chooses and separates. In reality, that's his job. And you'll notice that he is bifurcating, separating in a house of business partners, long-term committed love partners, the house of a sibling 3 older or 3 younger, for example. So there's a way that things want to change by cutting away or separating something. And if you're in a long-term love relationship like a marriage, it's possible that you'll have some geographical separation between you and a long-term partner during this transit of Mars. So get ready for evidence that might be true June the 28th to August the 14th. In the meantime, your partner could be going through some really intense times as the beginning of this month starts. In the first week of July, Mars is going to bump into, on July 3rd, 4th, going to bump right into Uranus. Now, that is a shock, surprise, unexpected development in the life of a business partner or marriage partner, or in the relationship to those people. They may have some kind of surprise development that you are having to live through, or you are surprised and shocked by developments in your long-term committed love, business partnership, clients and audience house, or the house of a sibling 3 younger or older than you. All of those are true. All I can say is expect the unexpected. Now, as this is occurring around the July 4th weekend, and you're kind of going through it, you'll notice that Mars and the North Node are bending, Mars and Uranus are bending the nodes of fate. Indeed, on July 1st, all the way through to about July the 5th, you're feeling it. And there's some kind of fate play, some destiny play happening. It's not in your control. You don't have a steering wheel. Are you surrendering or releasing a contractual agreement like a marriage? This is the house of weddings. South Node says, let's go. This is the house of legal marriage. Maybe you're going to get a divorce. Maybe your partner's serving up divorce papers and you're shocked. Maybe they're going to want to move out of the home. Maybe you want to change your home. Maybe there's contractual agreements that suddenly flare up for you to change your home. Now, it's an interesting combination because everything about this bending of the nodes of fate suggests that these are elements of intense destiny. You don't have a way you can take control. You are being given a chance to take a ride. So take your hand off the invisible steering wheel that doesn't exist, Sagittarius, because what you're being asked to do is let go, let God, because you already agreed to this before you got here. That's kind of the vibe I'm going to give you. Good news is that Mars, as he's cutting and changing and bending your nodes, is also the actual exaltation lord of your money house, the ruler of your children and romantic house, and also the ruler of your far off distant shores and lands. North Node, do you want to move to a country that's not the one you're in, or to a far off distant place from where you currently live? Because this could indicate that kind of change in home that's fated and destined, but also surprising and sudden. Maybe it comes off of shifts in your life to do with your work as well as your marriage. Possibly even situations regarding your children are leading you to a potential shift of location and where you live. Maybe you need to or want to be closer to your children. Maybe they're going through some turbulence and you're stepping in like a partner in crime to help them get through what could be a rough ride. So there's changes in the lives of those people, places, and things that you are not in charge of. Your marriage partner over here, they're the one with the sword in their hand. They're the one with the snippers in their hand. So that's a little bit of a challenge for sure. They may want what Mercury wants, which is spousal support money, shared resources. They may want the house. You could be going through that kind of story, but it may surprise you. So don't say, oh, no, happily married. That would never happen. Yeah, you watched that first week of July. Unfortunately, it could. It could be one of your stories. You can get legacy wealth, but you'll have to go to battle for it. Somebody doesn't want you to have it. So there's another narrative here where there's money from inheritance coming your way or could come your way, or the in-laws, and you have a battle over who gets those resources, you and another person. And it could involve a brother or sister, one older. It could involve a sibling, 3 older or 3 younger, and battling over financial resources from the family of origin and the parental storylines. Yeah, that's true too. On July 1st, by the way, Jupiter will square Chiron. As soon as we begin the month, I should have said that. And, Jupiter's like, this is going to happen later on in the 3rd week of July with the sun doing the same thing. You're trying to figure out what this chironic wound is going to be through to mid-September, connected to 3rd week of June to mid-September, wounds around debts owed or debts you need to pay or debts someone needs to pay back to you, wounds around pets and their health, wounds around your own work and livelihood situation, wounds around your rental property opportunities. Chiron is trining the North Node. You may have a glorious rental property opportunity, but you feel wounded by it. It's good, but you don't want it for some reason. The landlord wounds you and decides that you're going to have to leave and you want to go to court about it. These are kind of uncomfortable moments where there's a dig here. Jupiter's in the house of legal matters or foreign places. So rental properties, foreign places, opportunity with a downside, feeling wounded by need to change your home, rent a property or rent your property out. It's a lot going on for you guys. You might want to go on a pilgrimage, right? Jupiter in the 12th house, 9th house is like, let's do a pilgrimage to India or the El Camino. But you've got some kind of wound in the finances around debts and work, some kind of challenges around going on that adventure. There's just stuff here for you to consider the 1st week of July, and especially around July 1st and 2nd with that chironic wound and Jupiter in a square to each other. Then we move on and we talk about the next story. I do feel like that when the energy happens here of the, I'm speaking English, Mars trining Pluto, Mars sextiling Neptune, that you might notice, because this is a part of the beginning of the Barbo basket here, that you might notice in that 1st week of July, even while there's all this crisis energy in committed love or business partners or something like that, that you're also noticing the flow is adaptable here. So there is some flow regarding your children and your love life, and there is some flow and openings of change regarding your neighbors, your siblings in general, your cousins, and there's a kind of collaborative flow. You might want to make a change of plan regarding a travel plan connected to a child or a romantic partner. And that in the 1st week of July can flow and seem somewhat capable for you to make it happen without a problem. Okay. Literally, sometimes Mars sextiles Neptune is where you're clearing an illusion and you're getting sober-minded and realistic about the romance, about the children, about the fertility plan, about the long-term relationship and the sexual capacity for that to be happy for you and things like that. All right, let's keep on with the next story. We're going to go into the 2nd week of July. And did I miss anything here? Almost. On July, sorry, I almost forgot July the 6th. So give it a day or two on either side. It's a flashpoint of solar light moving through Cancer, Sun at 14 degrees of Cancer on the dog star Sirius. Very powerful placement. So Sun here, squaring Saturn here. So fifth house and eighth house square energy. Usually this house here, and again, you're feeling it on the fifth, sixth, seventh. Usually this is something to do with chunks of money that don't belong to you. You know, that spousal support, that inheritance money, that tax rebate, the royalty income, the Google AdSense money, some of shared monies with other stock monies, investments, dividend checks, that kind of chunky money. And we have Sun highlighting it. Well, Saturn wants serious consideration of realism. Be realistic about that money. There's a big light up here. Are you being realistic? With Mercury retrograde all the way from June 29th to July the 23rd in your eighth house of chunky money. Money issues from the past are resurfacing. Money issues connected to shared resources with other people. Yes, like a spouse. Yes, the inheritances. You might be backtracking to the past. Old money issues are returning. Old money stories are back in the news cycle for you. Like, okay, your tax accountant says we have to resubmit the accounts. An old stock opportunity and a stock you've invested in the past could resurface. You're going to reinvest again. You never know. This could be a house that activates those sorts of stories too. But Saturn wants realism. Because when Mercury's retrograde here, you could have contraction in gains you made in the stock market that are quite significant, June 29th to July 23rd. If you're in the trading or the investing markets, then this is a backtrack. And then Saturn is like sober realism about your good fortune, which may not feel so good. Sorry if this sounds a little heavy, Sag. I'm just giving you the story in its general bell curve astrology, not a natal chart reading. Please keep that in mind. If you had secret love affairs in the past, and former secret love affair people could be coming out of the woodwork to reignite a relationship. With Saturn in a sober, realistic, and falling condition, I don't think a reignition of old love stories for Sagittarius is a good idea, and Neptune might delude you into thinking it is. So watch for that reignition, the first 3 weeks of July of an old love relationship. And you might, if it was always a secret one, if you always kept it under wraps, no one else knew about it, then that would not be a good choice in my view. But there may be an attempt by the sky for you to think about the possibility of doing it. Speculative, risky stocks and investments in particular are backtracking. They're likely taking a turn for the worse. So yeah, that's a story too. Now, I don't have my water handy, and I'm honestly not going to stop the recording. Give me 30 seconds. I got my water, guys, and I'm right back. It took me 30 seconds to recover H2O from the other room. I want you to look at the first week then as a mixed bag of energy. Obviously, it made it sound like a difficult week. It has a lot of energy of tension with two major squares there. As I said, Mars will square the nodes of fate, and then the Sun will square Saturn. Well, Mercury is also retrograding in a house of money and investments and other people's money. Can we say, particularly given Mercury rules the marriage house, our business partner, shared monies with business partners and marriage partners become a bit of a headache in the first 3 weeks of July, okay? You can get through it. Or money connected to your career and like severance packages or benefits owed to you and having to backtrack there as well the first 3 weeks of July if you have had that experience. And the second week of July, we're going to move into another story. We're going to move into the time of the sky where we end up going into the following narratives. On about July the 9th, Venus will cross sign boundaries. She loves it up in fiery Leo. She's there to greet Jupiter, where he'll be for a year, bringing you Lakshmi, good luck and fortune. And Jupiter here, June 30th, add 1 12-month cycle till next summer, can bless you greatly with things like getting into your favorite university, good luck with visas, passports, and travel abroad, courts and judges favoring you and legal determining outcomes, fortunate circumstances connected to gurus, teachers, pilgrimages, and spirituality, and fortunate circumstances also connected to a sibling too older, and fortunate circumstances connected to what Jupiter can bring you up here, wealth, prosperity, and abundance, and as well, better health for the Sag risings as he flows to your body, okay? There's a good vibe here. But let's talk about when Venus crosses a sign boundary is no longer supporting Jupiter. You get the luck of Venus here with Jupiter around, when Jupiter joins in June the 29th, 30th, through till July the 9th. So that first week does give you double benefic blessings. And, it's good for feeling good about life. Even when bad things are happening, you're able to roll with it. You're able to find the silver lining and look for life to find the hope, on a higher order, that everything happens for a reason. You carry that vibe, trusting God and the divine intelligence and the big plan for the first 8 days of July. Anyway, then Venus see you later. We're crossing over. And Venus goes into her detriment in your 10th house. And on July the 9th begins to wake up the South Node. There's a thing going on around July 9th to the 12th where Venus South Node can mean a loss, a release, or a surrender of something to do with your career, but also your career connected to your home life, your career connected to your earnings, your job, your position at work, your workhouse, your career connected to your gains of your career, your rewards, and your long-range plans. This is a surrender here. This is letting go. This is not fighting against the current. You need to let it go. You need to surrender it. It's the right thing to do. So if there's a layoff, or if there's a situation where you get demoted, or if there's a thing you wanted to have in the work and career and money space, right? 10, 2, and 6, there is probably, best I could say, is a disappointment. Or an active choice to release or surrender or let go of something. This is a house of our social standing. I'm married, I'm separated, I'm divorced, I'm widowed, I'm dead, the funeral, the big rites of passage. And so what are you letting go of? And it could be anything, but these social standing situations are in surrender mode. I'm employed. Am I really? Something's letting go. Something's releasing. This is a workhouse. You owned your workhouse. Publicly declaring something to do with I'm leaving my job, visibly being seen to surrender a work position is not outside the bounds of possibility. Or because of Mars, Uranus, and the marriage house, a letting go of your status in a relationship from married to unmarried, or getting in the direction of, together but separated, or something like that. We're going to talk about the next story in the second week of July, like the 7th to the 14th. So we talked about Venus crossing sign boundaries on the 9th, joining the South Node of Fate, and there's a surrender there. And then we move forward. And you've been having eclipses, South Node eclipses anyway, for 18 months in your 10th house. This is like a final statement. Is that marriage over? Is that career path ending? Is it time? All right, when we move into the next story, in the second week of the month, we also notice that around July 12th, we have this new beginning, fresh start, new moon. And new moon energy starts afresh at the same time we have the new moon. We have the energy of the sun and Mercury co-joining together. So both things are happening. Let's take a look at how tight that looks. So the new moon and the Cazimi are co-present here. So Mercury will join the sun around the July the 12th, and by the 14th, we're going to have a new moon. So the 12th is the solar conjunction. Something is going to reset in your house of chunky money, shared resources with a business partner or a spouse, money that connects you to your investments, money that has to do with land, property, sale, title deed, insurance, finances, maybe even money connected to legacy wealth, family of origin. And there's a beginning of something new. And Mercury retrograde means it's connected to the past. You knew this was coming. This wasn't a surprise. You've been thinking this was going to happen all along. And now Mercury tells you, here's the paperwork, here's the news, sign on the dotted line. Could be buying and selling home, renting property, could be changing financial metrics in your life, like transition and transfer of wealth to you, in-law money, spousal support money, etc. And whatever you're doing, it's a reset button too, right? So it starts something new, because Mercury in the heart of the sun, while dispensing information, is also a new start. And over the 6 weeks that follow, you'll see the paperwork or the details unfolding in a significant way. The other thing is that right after that, the moon will be in a conjunction to the sun. That's a new moon in Cancer, starting something fresh. And that will happen most actively on the 14th. So there's a new beginning and a fresh start. You're going to love it. Mercury has reset a button here in a gazemi. Things from the past are re-beginning, rebooting, and restarting. There's a lot of that sort of the past becomes renewed and refreshed, but it really looks to be mostly about money unless you're an occultist and you're talking to dead people. Now, you'll notice as the time goes on, and we're now at the 14th of the month, have you seen or noticed there's a basket forming in the sky? This is what we're going to get into for the third week, Barbos basket. But before that, just as the basket is forming, just as it's becoming really activated, on July 13th, Venus will square Uranus for a surprise. Now, Venus is always trying to bring you something good, but with the South Node, she's weaker. She's in her own detriment. The South Node can make her detriment less gnarly. She's fallen here, but she's not in great shape. Okay. And she's going to square Uranus. Unexpected, surprising news connected to love, marriage, commitment, business partnerships, clients, customers, career, reputation, and visible social standing. Surprise. That's the best I can give you. You didn't see it coming. All right. Or you are a little bit shocked, or something left fielder. I don't know that it's terrible. Chiron is trining the Venus story, so it could be actually a very healing shift, but still surprises you. Definitely connects to work, earnings, money, and maybe fractures of legal contracts in that regard. Whose binding contract is being fractured? Is it a wedding contract or an employment contract or both? I don't know, but you are surprised by this. You don't really, kind of take shot. Could feel like a breakthrough, could feel like freedom as well. I'm finally free of that contract or agreement. As we go through the 14th then to the 22nd, Barbos, cradled, rare, once in a lifetime, thousands of years old. Yeah, this is activated. Jupiter in the sign of Leo, opposite Pluto in the sign of Aquarius. Juno, commit, don't commit, binding agreements, contracts, treaties. All right. What kind of tension is this? There could be tension between you and a sibling, you and an extended family member like a cousin, or tension on the axis of travel, or tension on the axis of learning. This is at higher education, this is elementary education or skills-based learning. But this tension also brings us into the energy of the god and goddess houses too. So there's a spiritual dynamic in this metacosmos part of the chart where you're coming into guru territory with Jupiter up there, spiritual teacher, guide, mentor, maybe coach, maybe therapist, and tension. And the tension is in communication. You might be the way you are miscommunicating by writing emails and phone calls. That's the third house. Well, not even phone calls, more like writing and emails. Ooh, you could have a powerful wealth opportunity emerge through writing and publishing, or a powerful travel opportunity to transform your reality through long distance journeys and travel. But there feels like there's a lot of intensity around here as we move to July 15th, 14th, and this tension lasts until the 22nd of the month. Okay. At the same time, this basket is forming, and it's really kind of opening up doors to all of these houses, particularly houses 11, 12, 1, and 2. And I'll do a deeper dive onto that. And I feel like you want to fill your basket, right? You can fill it with money, self-awareness, spirituality, and spiritual breakthrough. You can fill it with friends and new career visions and goals for your life. All those things can fill this basket that's forming here, and even fill it with great career success if you want. There's a lot of basket filling going on from houses 10, 11, 12, 1, and 2. But you got to get through the idea that how rare this is. I mean, because what we have is Jupiter, and he flows to Uranus. So unexpected positive developments in legal and court matters connected to business partnerships and marriage. We got some flow between Mars and this Neptune. Jupiter's your Lord, so he's trying to help you win in courts here. But this could be decisions connected to what you want to accomplish in your romantic life, sexual life, your children's lives, your artistic and entrepreneurial endeavors connected to. This is kind of very entrepreneurial itself, the Neptune connection with Saturn to your third house. If any of you is an artist, a creative, an entrepreneur of any type, then this is going to be a lot of flow in that area and how you reach your audience and how you might even get international success on the third week of July. And you have to square away the Jupiter-Pluto tension here, which can be very much about there's something good that wants to happen, but you need to transform. And it's powerfully intense, and you have to put your whole weight of your transpersonal willpower into this lucky opportunity that wants to transform your life. So It's intense, but it can be quite positive. That Barbos basket is going to, and it trails, it's the Lord of your sign anchoring the basket. Otherwise, we just had a mini grand trine like we did at the end of 25, right? No, this becomes a basket. And I think that you could roll with it because Jupiter is trining you and he is your Lord, making all of what seems like a hot mess quite serviceable and quite useful. And if any of you are in the book publishing industry or you write and publish things, this is very auspicious, could give you a powerful contract for publishing or agreements around publishing or international success and something artistic or creative that you're doing. Those are other themes in here as well. As we go into this a little more detail, I think that during the basket formation of the 14th to the 22nd, I do really like when Mars sextiles Saturn around the 18th and 19th. And this kind of energy is very powerfully positive. Mars wants to make changes and decisions in executive legal contracts, agreements, business partnership deals, and marriage situations, forming a flow to Saturn, who's in a superior position, saying, okay, I'm in your house, Mars, I got to do your bidding. This is your home of Aries. How can I help? So Saturn says, let's be realistic. Let's be serious. Let's be perseverant in getting what we want. And this could also involve situations with your children and your intersection in their lives. And maybe your ability to participate in some major important decisions that they're making as well. But there's a kind of sober realism married to a persistent patience that Mars is hooking up to. And yet Mars is in a sign that's cardinal. It can change your home. It can change your career path. It can change your relationship status. But there's a real serious energy and sober and realistic here as well. And Saturn is in the house of good fortune. Even when he's in debilitation, he's trying to do something useful for you here. If you sell a home, for example, Mars is the buyer. The North Node is the destined change of home. Saturn is the gains you make from selling a home. Saturn says, be realistic. This is all you're going to get in this market. Mars is saying, take the offer. You see what I'm saying? Okay, that's an example. All right. Also, as the Barbo basket unfolds its story, it will be the 20th to the 22nd that Jupiter really locks and loads the whole basket as he reaches the 4-degree mark and becomes really tightly opposite Pluto, tightly trine Neptune and sextile Uranus. It's the whole story I've said coming to its finale energy. And certainly Jupiter-Uranus brings bounteous surprises about money, okay? You can be lucky here. And even Neptune in the house of good fortune, and the moon will end up moving through the house of windfalls. You could come into like a bounteous financial situation. It could be a legal decision or a court matter. It could just come to you in any way, a grant or a stipend from an institution, a government body, or educational institution. And it could bring you some good fortune on the financial front. As this fully finishes up on the 20th to the 22nd, and Jupiter locks and loads his participation here. All right. Remember I told you how we're moving on to the 23rd of July, and I told you how on July 1st, Jupiter squares the chironic wound, the new wound you're feeling in your 6th house, very existential, a lot of karmic debt, maybe health challenges could emerge, and you're going to end up with a secondary square. That's the sun saying, well, Jupiter, you started some business with Chiron back in early July. Let me finish up here and put some light on what we started. And so here we go again, the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, the sun digs in to this lesson and wants you to readdress what this wound is. Is it a debt wound, a legal debt wound? You have to pay off things, your creditors and legal people after you, or is it a wound around your health? And you're looking for an expert authority type of doctor up here. Is it a wound about your pets and rental properties and your job. And this is the human resource department saying, here's your buyout, go and have fun. There's something that wants to go into 2.0 from what started in the first week of July, really coming back to you in the third week of July with a spotlight on it, a big light on it. Power struggles, of course, it's Sun opposite Pluto, but those are yearly. And this is going to just be an intense opportunity to further what began in the first week of July on the themes I've just outlined for you. On July the 24th, Mercury and Venus say happy news, right? Happy news. What is happy news? Anything that makes you happy, anything that feels good and pleases you. Mercury is in your Cancer sky. Cancer, what is that? That's your chunky money house. Mercury is no longer retrograde as of the 23rd. You're ready to start to move forward on money stories, chunks of money, tax rebates, insurance payouts, in-law money, inheritances, spousal separation agreements, and shared resources with your spouse in general. Mercury is now forward, okay, as of the turning point of July the 24th in this part of the sky. And now you can make these decisions with Mercury and Venus flowing together for the good news story. It can be very good news around career matters. You're really feeling the good news picking up some steam here. All right. I don't know. It could be really good career news. I like it for you on July 24th. I feel like you could get a vibe here of finally things are going forward in my divorce settlement, in my money and agreements with my career and my direction with my career endeavors. And it could also be very positive for getting a deal around real estate and property finally going forward in clear ways that are going to benefit you on the financial front, whether you're buying or selling or even renting property. So there's a forward momentum on money matters connected to those themes in a good news vibration for you. On July the 26th to the 27th, there's going to be solar energy fortifying the Barbos cradle. First, Jupiter locked and loaded on the 20th to 22nd, and then the cradle gets relit up like a candle between July 26th to the 27th when the sun takes the position Jupiter had. It's the same story dragging out. The whole second half of July is this rare once-in-a-lifetime formation. And so it just continually amplitudes what we've been talking about all along. Given that the sun is the exaltation lord of the fifth house, and you've got that Neptune formation, it really supports also positive, lucky developments in art, entrepreneurship, being on purpose, using your talents and abilities for the greater success of yourself and others, and maybe even opening up beautiful doors of lucky, good fortune in your life in any way that you would say, wow, I feel so lucky. I mean, whatever that means to you, because, you know, Neptune is a dream come true in love, in romance, in fertility and pregnancy. If you've always wanted to have a child, Jupiter's in the house of grandchildren. So there may be that like, wow, this feels really good. The sunlight in my house of grandchildren. My grandchild's looking great. My child's having a baby. I'm so happy. Gratitude here for sure. And that vibe is nicely, sweetly lit up like a candle, July 26th to the 27th from everything that's been happening since mid-July on this cradle development. Finally, the last three things of the month, let's whip through them. Venus will square Mars. That's going to be sexy lovers having a hot time or something else. It can be a big intensity between marriage and divorce settlement moments where there's conflict and terminations and disagreements, and Venus fallen in the house of weddings is like, oh dear. This is not fun. Also disagreements around how much money you should be getting, how many perks and rewards you should be getting in your career, 11th house. Maybe some conflicts that are publicly displayed with a sibling one older or a friendship clash. And whatever this is about, if it was about romance, then you're having a sexy, sizzling romance in an office career setting, maybe with someone in the workspace. This can be challenging. And this could lead to a feeling that, well, you're having a good sexual chemistry here, Venus has fallen and this will not go well. So you want to be careful for interoffice sex romance, especially around July the 29th. I'm just giving you my guidance. On July the 29th as well, the sun is also going to join Jupiter, setting in motion a year-long reset button in your ninth house of God. But it can reset you on spiritual path, dharma, life purpose. It can be a reset about your educational path for colleges and universities and beginning again and renewing that. It can reset you in book publishing industries. It can reset you in court cases and legal matters. It's a reset button. And you'll notice that the node of fate has shifted here around the 28th, joining this energy of Jupiter for a year. And this is also where you have destined and fated endeavors in everything I talked about. Sometimes when Jupiter's here, it's a coach, a guide, a mentor, an advisor, a preacher, pastor, rabbi. This is a sun in the house of its joy. Some of you are going to get God, okay? You're going to go into some spiritual path, some religious path, some kind of spiritual adventure. Maybe you want to travel the world. Maybe this is pilgrimages that are calling you. South Node says go travel for spiritual awakening. Some of you are going to follow the path of the looking for the true guru, the sat guru, the good guru. That's what this is, the good teaching, the spiritual path that lights you up. This will also align you profoundly with destined, fated ways to be in life's flow, for being on purpose in your life and following the path your soul intended. This is a year-long reset. We'll be doing a deep dive onto that. And lastly, you might find that the full moon at Aquarius, 6 degrees, is taking a cue from the eclipse of February 28th. That full moon is important. The full moon is shining in a part of your sky that is sibling oriented. Most of your siblings here, cousins, neighbors, local kin, are in their third house. So there is a full light there. What went on with a sibling, if anything, in February 28th, at a couple weeks? What happened with travel plans February 28th at 2 to 3 weeks? There was an eclipse here. It's bigger than that, but there's a vibe there. What happened around February 28th, maybe a month before and a month after even? Was it about travel? Was it about siblings? Was it about your local neighborhood and where you live and your neighbors? Was it about your online social media life and writing and communicating, marketing, selling, and teaching? These are all third house stories, your daily life and routines and where you live. A big eclipse here in February. A lot of you, and February eclipse is complicated, but the North Node was in the house of home and property. That eclipse in February, which can run a whole year, okay, still not over until February of next year, we'll try to relocate a lot of you. A lot of you, Sagittarius, are going to want to move your home. And yet at the same time, this eclipse is fulfilling, this moon is lighting up what the eclipse started for you. All right, now this is a house of siblings, major changes, destined changes, fated changes in the life of siblings, including a sibling getting a divorce for, death in Juno. And this is what may unfold here on this moon on July 29th. Give it 2 to 3 weeks to show you what it's about, and understand that it will last for 6 months to give you the full Monty. Just for you, a ladybug landed on my window. You know that ladybugs are lucky, right? So you got ladybug luck at the very end of this reading, Sagittarius. Good for you. Don't forget, when you are wanting to like and subscribe and you forget that your finger just has to push a button, go ahead and do it. And don't forget to check out Sky Reader. Join me for 7 weeks of study in September into October, where you can learn to read the sky, be your own astrologer, and time your best life. It is the first course I teach out of 3, Sky Reader, Mapmaker, and Code Breaker. Those are the 3 layers to study with me. This is the introductory level. These days, I prefer people come in after learning the language of astrology before jumping into exotic timing tools in my secondary level course. I'll see you guys around. Have a great day. Ciao, ciao. Have a great month.
Lunatic astrology.